So talking about your past again, what did you learn and bring from your time in your previous roles?
I've had a few different roles, working with a few different organizations over the last 25 years. I started in the contract world, and working with multiple clients in many, many different industries, everything, nonprofits. I worked with for-profit companies, pharmaceutical companies, automotive, uh, shipping, all financial, and then being able to take all of my experiences working with all kinds of people across the world in so many different industries allowed me to bring different perspectives and ideas, and also working on different policies. Uh, I've while I wasn't a specialist, I got to use my general knowledge and apply that to focusing on one industry, and then we were talking earlier about experiences. I think it's important to really do and work in an area in which you find fulfillment. And I've always loved cars and transportation. I went back and I was thinking to myself, when I was doing general work, what areas would I really enjoy working in? And transportation and automotive kept popping up. And so I was thankful that an opportunity did kind of jump in front of me, and I seized it, and I'm grateful that Continental Automotive gave me that opportunity, and trusted me with opening an office in Washington and a government affairs program. And I was able to, while I didn't have experience running in a corporate office. I did have experience in the public policy space and in Washington, and I knew what their goals were, and they allowed me to grow, and that springboarded into the opportunity I have at LKQ. And then with LKQ, taking my knowledge of the automotive industry, the general industry as a whole, and applying that and growing this department has been something that has been extremely fulfilling. And then, as I mentioned, moving into the foundation, when I did general contract work, I worked with a lot of nonprofits and did a lot of fundraising, and helped corporations and organizations spend their funds wisely. So taking what I learned there and applying that to this also has been really rewarding. So taking meshing all of that together has been really terrific.
Are you still passionate about what you do today? Like, is that a driver for you, like the passion and how you might be changing, helping?
Absolutely. You talk to my teammates in our department. It's pretty funny because I've been trying to transition away from some of what I've been doing for the 25 years. And, I've lucky enough that we have got really one of the best teams in all of what I believe, not an understatement, all of the world, because we do work globally. I've got an incredibly capable and knowledgeable team, and I struggle with the fact of handing it off and letting them do other things, because I want to have my hands in it, because I love it. I really enjoy it. It is still a passion. I still wake up, I still think about strategy, and sometimes I say to them, "Hey, when you're going to a meeting, come by my office and maybe I can tag along with you," because I miss some of the interactions that they do, and they're one. It's not because I want to steal, what they're doing. It's because I want to still have that feeling. I love the personal interaction with elected officials. I love going into the offices. I got my start, sitting in a front office welcoming companies and constituents in to meet with their elected official. I love going in and sitting in that entry door couch, seeing what kind of snacks and talking to the young people who are answering the phones and welcoming visitors, all the way up to working with staff and meeting meeting that congressman or senator face to face, and talking about getting into the weeds on policy. It's a lot of fun. It's very addictive, and I love doing the day to day. But again, LKQ has afforded me the opportunity to bring in a team that is more capable than I. And I'm lucky for that, and they do a great job. And so I found passion in other areas, like the foundation that we talk about, and I talk about the communications piece and a little bit of whether it be messaging or crisis management, whatever it is. Nobody loves a crisis more than a communications person. So it's the opportunity that you get to speak, and clearly I like to speak too much.
I think when you have that passion, though, that drives other people towards you as well. Because I think with our leadership, they're that same way. Like our co-CEO, Chris, I mean, he will join in on sales calls. He's helping build websites. He's helping do artwork stuff. I mean, he'll get on calls because he has such a passion for it, and you gravitate towards that. So I think that's a testament to you. You have a great team, but you kind of built that too because you've brought something that people want to bring their best to every day for you. So that's great.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to work with great people who are really good at what they do. And I say that not only for our external affairs team at LKQ, but all the way through. I learned so much from our colleagues, whether I am visiting that aftermarket shop, a warehouse, learning about logistics management, working with our finance teams and controllers. We've got the best of the best in all of our departments, and I just love soaking up the knowledge. And there is passion. You can see the passion that each person has for what they do, and just absorbing that is infectious. And being a part of that, going to our different facilities and yards, I really love getting to meet all of the folks that do what they do, because every single person plays a role. And if that person isn't playing that role, this company isn't where it is today. So you've got to have that passion through and through. And I give a lot of credit to our management teams for putting the people in place that share that passion. And we've got a leadership team that brings that same passion every single day to their jobs. And it's really fun to get in a room with everybody. Meetings are exciting. I don't know. It's find myself giggling at myself for saying a phrase like that. Meetings are exciting, but they are, especially at LKQ.
I think the passion behind the brand too leads to that. I think they all have such a drive and a passion to get things done to the level of excitement and getting to that end goal, whether it be in, your role or being at the warehouse. I think they all just have that passion and drive, because you do see the trickle down effect from the upper management down to, any level in LKQ with that as well. Can you speak a little bit about how brand can affect the public policy arena?
Absolutely. Well, we spoke, Nicole asked earlier about, what do you want people to walk away with, knowing about LKQ, or, trust and transparency. And so looking at, thinking about what's the brand do in the policy arena, and how does that, there are a lot of household names out there. Now people look at color. They associate colors, right, with brand names. They associate certain scripts with brand names. logos. I love playing that game of you see a logo on a piece of paper. They got 50 logos. Can you name all the companies that belong to that logo? Well, that's because that logo's been around. That's a trusted brand. Whether that brand tastes good or delivers a product, or you associate it with quality, maybe it gives you a feeling of family or warmth of some sort. It's no different for LKQ. What we want, we've got that trusted brand with our customer base. Those who work within our industry, those who service their customers, rely upon us because they know we will deliver a product that, when delivered, they can work with easily, that their customer is going to be happy with their returned product, being their vehicle. When you think about things in a way of, let's take a car owner and we go back to that mom, she's got the three most important things in her life riding behind her in something that weighs a lot of money going very fast. And there's a lot of risk in that little activity that many of us take for granted. Most car owners like to believe that that product is going to operate as they purchased it 100% of the time. And we play a really important role in the life of that product and ensuring that that person get from A to B safely and efficiently, without having to think. People have way too many things to think about. And this is a long-winded way to get back to the answer to your question, Leah, about policy and brand, is when you have a policymaker writing something that is going to affect there's 280 million vehicles owned by the U.S. consuming public. They're writing policy that's going to affect all those 280 million vehicles. They want to make sure they get it right. And one of the things that we want them to think about is our brand. When they're writing that, well, these people deliver. They deliver the product. So as I'm writing this policy, am I taking them into account? And their constituent base is my constituency that's going to vote for me. Am I allowing these people the ability to stay on the road safely and get them to where they need to go on a daily basis, taking care of that precious cargo sitting behind me? And that brand plays a role. There are, if I mention an industry, you're going to come up with, names right off the top of your head at the snap of a finger. When I mention, automotive policy, there's a couple names that you're going to come up with, the snap of a finger. Is LKQ one of them? Well, I believe there's a lot of work to do, and we're working on that. But we want to make sure that we are a known presence by public policymakers. So for us, it's a smaller world in the place where I work, in the department that I work. But we want to be that known entity that you think about in this small world.
So speaking of your brand, and kind of leading into how you partner with us. So there's a lot of products that we're working with you on with your brand. How are you using those products?
In a lot of different ways, and a lot of exciting ways, just like a sales team. We've got a terrific global sales team. They make sales calls. When they go in and sit across the table from a buying manager, they want to walk. When they leave that room, maybe their personal name isn't remembered, but simply is that brand name recalled. do I want to buy a product from that? What was that brand again? Oh, they were wearing that sweatshirt that had the logo on it. Let me reach out to them. I really liked them. I really liked that pitch. And so we do a lot of events in my department, and we have a lot of face-to-face time outside of the conventional office time that members of Congress keep. So we could be in a casual setting. We could be walking down the street. A lot of, I live in Washington, D.C. I could show up to a soccer field and I'm standing next to a member of Congress who's watching their son or daughter. I could be on a golf course. You're at a restaurant enjoying a casual meal. Well, you never know who you're going to run into, and you put your best self forward, and then when you walk away, you want that person at a minimum, to walk away. Say, oh, man, the guy with that really nice, quarter zip, that was cool. And it's funny. We work with a lot of large household name. We work alongside of in the same environment as a lot of household names, large corporations, and we get phone calls all the time of, hey, what's that shirt that you were wearing the other day? That thing was odd. We need to order those for our team because people talk about it, and we have a reputation around town that we have great swag. And listen, you talk good about me, talk bad about me, just talk about me. Is a great line. So if you're talking about me, if you're talking about LKQ, that means that something resonated. And so that's why we take a lot of time and diligence in choosing the products that we do and the way that we place that brand on that product. It's super important. What is that product? How does that brand look on it? How does it sit? And when we walk away, does it leave an impression? Just like, what we say, does it leave an impression? The way you look leaves an impression. And so, we want to leave folks thinking, ooh, that was a quality product. That was a quality looking individual. That's a quality company. So
a visual reminder.
Absolutely.
Of what you talked about, who you are. So we have a little thing internally. I spent 25 years in the collegiate market. It is very huge on brand, on mascots, athletics, but we call it branding in the wild. And there's not a single brand advisor that doesn't get excited when they see something they've produced on the streets, in an image on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or just on campus. I was at UC Irvine last week with the brand advisor, Lindsay, and we are leaving campus, and she goes, "That's mine. I created that. I worked on that project." And there's like 20 young women all wearing the same shirt, and she instantly recognized it in the wild as hers. So it's that same concept of when people see that brand, you might forget a name, but oh no, they had that great hat, they had that polo, or they left this item behind me. So it's what we do, it's what we love. But we do have that fun branding in the wild, and like we'll snap pictures and things like that.
I bet you guys, you're coming up. College football season is upon us. And, as you're watching two teams play, when they pan to when they pan over to all the fans in the stands, I can imagine all of you are looking like, hey, what shirts are they wearing? What hats are they? What do they got? What do they have on? Is that our stuff?
Oh, 100%. We are scoping it out. We're always looking. And it's so funny because you'll see like images, marketing pieces, and you're like, we did that. Like, it makes you feel good. It gives you a sense of pride. So we completely understand like when people remember and call out. But you're right. College football season is coming. It gets a little crazy in the office because of who all we represent, and then people with their professional teams. We have a great guy that works for us who does a lot of the spirit things. Like he runs the flag for the Chicago Bears. And he works for us. So we have people that are involved in so many cool things.
That's a really interesting activity. He's got to be really strong. And in the Windy City, that flag could go anywhere at any moment. You've got to really have a strong core.
We will introduce you to Kevin. I think you're going to be surprised, but he's pretty amazing. So as we wrap up here, it sounds as if LKQ's core mission and the brand are used by your team to affect your policy needs. Can you explain how that will always play out in your day-to-day work?
Well, I go back to mentioning that you want folks, when they're making important decisions, to think about you, and then in our day-to-day work, amongst our entire team, are you considering the decisions that you're making, the conversations that you're having, leave that impression with whomever you're speaking with, and are you representing yourself the way that you want? Do you want to leave the impression with somebody of yourself that what's your goal with that impression that you leave, and what's the impression that you want to leave ultimately of the company with that person? And so, in our day-to-day life, are you living those same values in which you want people to perceive you and your company? And that's really important. So, yeah, I think I like to, whether it is in exercise and activity, in my social life or in my professional life, kind of bringing that same passion in all of those areas. Consistency. Are you bringing a little bit of fun to it? Are you bringing a little humor? Don't take yourself too seriously. Take yourself very seriously. And if you're kind of checking all those boxes, things are going to work out, I believe.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you. Nicole, Leah, it was great. Thank you for joining us as well.
Well, thank you for having me.